Cinderella, get my clothes ready, Anastasia commanded. No, Hauwa said. The two girls looked at her in surprise. What do you mean no? Anastasia asked with folded arms. You're an adult, get them yourself. Somewhere in the town of Saki, there was a beautiful lady called Hauwa. She loved to sit by the television and watch Cinderella all day. She had watched it more than 100 times, but she still wasn't satisfied and wanted to keep watching. She wished with all her heart that she could be Cinderella someday. I would teach that wicked stepmother and stepsister some bitter lesson that they would never forget. How I wish I can enter the cartoon and change everything. Hawa was from a small and simple family, so she knew it was impossible if only wishes come true. One day, her mother sent her to buy some food items in the market, and she left immediately. As she walked, she saw an old woman struggling to carry a heavy load, and she quickly walked up to her and collected the load. Hello, old one. Let me help you. Tell me your destination, Hawa said. The old lady flashed her a smile. Thank you. I'm headed towards the Nam River. It's quite a distance, so you don't have to bother, she said. It's fine. I can handle it, so don't worry. Hawa helped her carry the load all the way to her home. It was a lonely cabin in the woods beside the river. Thank you, young lady. What is your name? The old lady asked. I'm Hawa, she replied. And you? Call me Fairy Godmother, the old lady said. Fairy Godmother? Hawa asked. Make a wish, and I shall answer it, Fairy Godmother said. I doubt you'll be able to do it, but I want to be Cinderella, Hawa said. The old lady smiled and gave her a dream catcher. Take this and put it in your room. Hawa collected it, but she didn't believe it would work. She thought the old lady was hallucinating, and she went back home. At night, she brought out the dream catcher and hung it in her room, but nothing happened. I knew it wouldn't work, Hawa said and went to sleep. The next day, she woke up to large noises and it got closer to her room. She suddenly heard the door open. Why are you still asleep by this time? Hawa woke up and stretched and looked around. She was shocked to be standing in front of the wicked stepmother, and everything looked like a dream. She looked at herself in the mirror and saw that she was Cinderella. She was finally a cartoon. Yes, Hawa screamed, dancing happily, and her stepmother looked at her in shock. Cinderella, what has come over you? Fuck you, stepmother, Hawa said. Her stepmother's eyes widened in shock. How dare you? Looks like you need to be taught a lesson, stepmother said, and dragged her by the arm. Let me go. Hawa yanked her hand off and went downstairs to the living room. She saw the two ugly stepsisters, Anastasia and Gisela, dozing away on the chair. These two look worse in real life, Hawa thought to herself. Just then, stepmother came downstairs and shook her daughters. Wake up, sleepyheads, she said. But I want to sleep some more, Gisela said and yawned. I will take you to the pastry shop if you get ready on time, stepmother said, and they both jumped up. The pastry shop? I love the pastry shop, Anastasia said in excitement. Cinderella, get my clothes ready, Anastasia commanded. No, Hawa said. The two girls looked at her in surprise. What do you mean no? Anastasia asked with folded arms. You're an adult, get them yourself, Hawa said. Mother, Cinderella has gone crazy, Gisela said. You must apologize, Cinderella, or you are out of my house. Isn't this house in my father's name? Hawa asked. I have the papers, so the house is mine. Now apologize, stepmother said. No, Hawa said firmly. Very well then, you must leave my house, stepmother said and kicked her out. Hawa didn't mind as she walked around the village, looking at the places that were not shown in the Cinderella cartoon, and she marveled at how beautiful it was. Okay, fairy godmother, I'm in distress, so please save me, Hawa said, but nobody came. She walked till she got to a bar, tired and hungry. She sat on the table, watching the drunk men, and soon, some of them began to harass her. What worse is that she couldn't fight back. Cinderella had no strength. She was sure that if she was her real self, she would have fought the men properly. All the akmo and rice she had eaten back home wouldn't be in vain. Stop! She heard a female voice, and all of them left her alone. Who are you? Hawa asked the girl. I'm Isabella. Let's just say my dad is really important, and I like to hang out at the bar, the girl said. Thank you for saving me, Isabella. People like you should have been in the Cinderella story, Hawa said. Isabella didn't understand, but Hauwa explained everything to her and how she time traveled. I don't believe all you're saying, but if you're waiting for a fairy godmother, then you must be kind to people and love them. Only then will the fairy godmother help you. She doesn't help anyone with a vengeful heart, Isabella explained. Hauwa now understood everything. She had to follow the same path of Cinderella for the story to remain the same. Therefore, she had to live with her stepmother. Hauwa decided that she would make money so she could secretly pay someone to do her chores for her because there was no way she would come to a cartoon to suffer. Wait a minute, I'm Cinderella and I can sing, Hauwa said to herself. She had a frog's voice in real life, but here she could sing. She begged the barman to let her perform to raise some money so they could split the profits. Hauwa mounted the stage and sang beautifully, and the people were so touched that they dropped some coins in a bowl next to her. Hauwa was glad about the money she made and rushed back home. She knocked on the door. You! How dare you come back to this house? Stepmother asked immediately she opened the door. Mother, please let her in. I need the loose button in my blouse soon, Gisela said. And I need my room tidy, Anastasia said. And I need my clothes washed. Gisela said, enough. Girls. Cinderella, your punishment is you must do all the work in this house with no food, stepmother said. Cinderella was allowed in and she laughed in her room. Me that has eaten food at the bar. I'm an African girl. You can't run me straight, Hauwa said. Hauwa was about to have a bath when she stopped. Wait a minute. The cartoon's bath? She shrugged and had her shower anyway. It was late at night, so she went to bed and was to begin work the next day. Stepmother and stepsisters left the house, expecting her to do all the work. Hauwa quickly called some girls and paid them to quickly do all the chores. By the time her stepmother and stepsisters came back, everywhere was clean. Hauwa felt very smart and she knew she had to sneak out at night and sing to make more money so she could save for a dress and pay people to do chores for her. She needed something to wear in case fairy godmother decided to mess up. Hauwa was so scared of rats and mice and she ran away from the ones in the cartoon. Instead, she secretly took a key and met someone to make a copy for her. That way, her stepmother could swallow the key for all she cared. Finally, news came around that the prince was holding a ball to search for a bride, hosted by the king. Hauwa had saved enough for a dress and decided she would wear something different. She didn't want the boring blue dress. Now that she had a chance to be Cinderella, she would make the changes she wanted. The day came and Cinderella pretended like she wasn't going to the ball. Stepmother still decided to lock her in the house all the same. Hauwa waited for the fairy godmother, but nobody came. So if I didn't get a spare dress, I won't have a dress to wear. Stepmother, you messed up, Hauwa complained bitterly and changed into the dress she bought. Just as she was about to leave, she opened the door and saw that it was locked. Hauwa expected it, so she went to bring out her spare key from where she had kept it, but it was nowhere to be found. She looked around in shock but couldn't find it. Oh no, what do I do? Hauwa began to panic and she wondered how she would get to the ball.